We're live. F it, we're live. I'll do it live. F it. Bill O'Reilly, that clown. All right, so I've always wanted to do a midday live stream. I thought it'd be fun to do. You okay, buddy? Pablo keeps puking. He keeps licking up his puke. I'm like, I don't know how to stop this. Okay. I got cut right there. I always thought it'd be fun to do a midday live stream, and don't have anything going on until 4:30 today. And so, what's up, Tim? Timothy Smith, running back for the Redskins, number 36. Remember that? Timmy Smith. Timmy, what happened to Timmy and Lassie? Anybody know what happened to Timmy and Lassie? Come here, Pops. Oops. Why do you keep licking it up? Well, don't lick. Oh boy, stop licking it up. All right. Anyway, so I was doing this. Come here, baby. Come on. Poor doggy. I have to take him to the vet. Why does he keep throwing up? He ate this grass. I know when I take him for a walk, he eats all this grass and he's like puking it up. But why would you? I don't get it. Yeah, he keeps puking up. Why is he doing that? All right. Now I'm not on Rumble. I'm on Facebook this time, Jeremy. Facebook. So I got to choose between Rumble and Facebook, and sometimes I'll choose Facebook. Sometimes, mostly I choose Rumble, frankly, but sometimes I'll choose Facebook. The problem about Rumble, as I always say, is you got to go through. It's not linked to StreamYard, which is what I'm on now, which sucks. I wish it were. So Rumble, you can go live on Rumble solely, but to be honest, my channel is based on YouTube, man. Until they ban me, it is, and it's just some of these guys. I don't know how they do it. They put videos on. I guess Odyssey automatically loads it up. I haven't followed Odyssey. I'm on Odyssey. I don't know if my videos are being loaded there or not. Some of these guys will put it on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, like freevoice.io, locals. I'm like, how do you? I don't have the time to do all that crap or the patience. Anyway, so come here, come here. Here comes this guy. Making me worried here, buddy. Oh, you okay? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is Pablo. You okay? Look at those eyes. Don't you want a Pablo shirt? Lacy. Right on. Right on, Dana. What's the weather up there, man? Well, Jeremy's up there next year, next to the woods too. Jeremy's in Augusta. Stillwell, Kansas, right on. Don't you guys want a Pablo t-shirt? Find it in the link. All right. So I want to share with you guys something. Oh, he's okay. What's going on? Look his little paw. Lacey. Can you imagine Pablo and Lacey seeing each other, Dana? Now, that would be funny. That would be something for the ages. I saw when I was walking yesterday, these guys walked by with two Dachshunds, whatever. And they're not nearly as cute as old Pablo here, that's for sure. Oh, now I just laying my lap. All right. So I want to share with you guys something nice. Yeah, right on, man. So I came across this email. So someone had emailed me, and I literally just posted a video on this, but I figured I've always wanted to do an afternoon live stream. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. I follow people who do their live streams on a regular basis on the afternoon, and I don't know if I have the intestinal fortitude to do it on a daily basis because I'm not that organized. But it was fun, especially when the markets. I saw the Walmart stuff come down this morning. I was like, damn, that's not good. And I just want to share with you guys some ideas. Yeah, so look at this. Let's see. That's a 10-year Treasury. That's the yield, 2.785. 10-year Treasury yield, 2.785. Everyone's going to mistakenly focus on this right here. The yield jumped up from down here. Now you stink. Man, that's a mistake. Because that's the highest it's been in, what's that, 10 years. Look at that. The 10-year Treasury is basically the highest it's been in 10 years. Are you all hearing me? The 10-year Treasury is basically the highest it's been in 10 years in terms of yield. Yeah, pretty doggone close. It is at 3.28, 3.22 in October 2008. The highest the 10-year Treasury has been in 10 years, amigos. In fact, if we look back, we can see the 10-year Treasury right now. I mean, not just the highest in 10 years, but basically pretty doggone close to the highest it's been. I mean, it's not literally the highest in 10, but it's pretty close. So I see right here, 2013 is at 3.2, and it hit 3 point something here recently. Yeah, no, I can't tell. But basically, it's within spit distance, the highest has been since 2011. Is at 3.5 at two in January 2011. Is at 3.5. What does that tell you? I just think this through for a second. We get an economy that's falling apart here, and look. I don't want to be one of these guys because Biden's in office is falling apart. It's not. It's. I mean, yes, I agree that Biden has something to do with this, but it's falling apart for numerous reasons. Mostly is the green stuff. Trudeau now is trying to get rid of nitrogen. Netherlands are getting rid of nitrogen. I just watched this video for Veratisium or something like that talk about the guy who came up with the whole thing about nitrogen as a fertilizer. Some German guy, and how that basically saved the world, to be able to eat. And now these same idiots who are getting rid of the same stuff that we use to feed ourselves. It's anti-human. I mean, these people are literally insane. They want people to. I don't want to say more, but anyway. Point being is, all right. So now we're at the highest 10-year Treasury we've been in 10 years. All right. All right. Now, what does that mean? So I want to show you guys something. Because everyone and their mom thinks that means it's going to go up, and I completely disagree. So I went to Schwab, and I said, and again, I just literally did a video on this, but I'm going to do it anyway live because I think it interests me to no end. And I'm going to show you something here. You got 5-year. This is with a company called Midland National Life, who's A+ rating, by the way. So they're legit. I don't know that much about Midland National Life. I don't, could they go bankrupt? Sure, anything could happen, but I'd be pretty confident. And this is not just, look, I'm not telling you to go out and buy annuities. I'm not. You do whatever the hell you want to do. I don't care. And I'm not buying annuities. I'm not, because I actually think the bond market is going to freaking take off like a bat out of hell for the next 18 months. I think the bond market has some serious upside. Anyway, so you got 4.25 in a 5-year fixed annuity at Midland National. That's through Schwab. I don't know where you can get it directly at Midland National. I'm not sure, but I'm just using this through Schwab. 4.25. So let me explain how this works. This is literally the most easy financial concept there is. A annuity says you put $100,000 in, you get $4,250 a year for 5 years. After 5 years, you can do whatever you want with it. You can roll it to another annuity. You can cash the whole thing out. You got to pay income tax on the gains that you've made, on the interest you made. You don't pay any income tax. You pull it out. But for a fact, you put $100,000 in, you'll get 4,250 times 5. You'll walk away with $21,000 of interest, guaranteed. No muss, no fuss, no risk, and no taxes until you decide when to pay the taxes. Always remember, it's LIFO when it comes to annuity. Unlike a Roth IRA or even a mutual fund where you can specifically identify shares to sell to leave your deferred money to pay later on. An annuity is not like that. Anytime you pull money out of an annuity, it always comes out interest first. So you're always going to pay your taxes on any kind of income. So on that $21,000, if you pull $10,000 out to buy some new tennis shoes, that $10,000 will be subject to taxation. I hope that makes sense. A fixed, any kind of annuity, is always LIFO, last in, first out. So in this case, it's last in. It was the interest that you've accumulated, and you always pay tax on that before you even get to your principal. Just keep that in mind. But anyway, so now we're guaranteed to have $121,250 in 5 years' time. There's no risk of market. There's nothing. There's no risk. Well, there's inflation risk. Okay, if you really think inflation is going to keep growing like that, I'm telling you, I do not want to come across as flippant where I don't think there's inflation. Of course there's inflation, but it's not to the extent that people, in terms of CPI. And if you want to use that shadow stats thing, be my guest. I don't care. But if you think the alternative to inflation that is either unseen via shadow stats or the CPI numbers, which are insanely high for most people because we own our homes and we own our cars, what are you going to do? Stocks to hedge against inflation? There's no evidence of that. Gold to hedge against inflation? There's no evidence of this. I mean, that doesn't mean it can't happen. Just means why do we have ingrained in our mindset that gold and equities hedge against inflation? Well, because the theory, it makes sense. We say gold would go up as a store of value against inflation, but then you look at the histoire and you're like, well, that hasn't really happened now, has it? Could it? Sure. Has it? No. And then you look at equities and you say, well, the long-term equities has been a hedge against inflation. Yes. But the long-term equities aren't inherently a hedge against inflation. It's just because they've done so well relative to inflation numbers. And I attribute that to globalization, deregulation stuff, but I think those days are coming to an end as we get into this more and more things. We're getting rid of nitrogen. We have more. We're just the global trade that we've come to rely on to keep products low is coming to an end, and that I don't even think it means inflation. I just think it means less consumption. I really do. On top of that, you have an amount of people who won't borrow money to save their life. It doesn't matter if the interest rates are zero; they're not borrowing money, and that's the balance sheet recession that Richard Koo talks about in his book, The Holy Grail of Monetary Economics, where he says, look, you can have zero interest rates all day long, but if people aren't borrowing, it's not going to find its way in the economy, and you're not going to have a growth on the economic side because people just don't want to consume. They're not spending. And this is exactly what's happening now. And going back to what Walmart said when they put their numbers out, which are pretty bad, they said people just aren't spending because they're spending so much of their income now on the basics, the energy and food. Okay. Well, energy and food is a hell of a lot different than buying, new tennis shoes or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Or buying a new, I don't know, taking a trip to freaking South Padre Island. I mean, you have to have these things. You have to have these things. So if you're buying energy and food because that's where the inflation is, because the greens, I tell you, don't let the greens on. This is what pissed me off. Everyone wants to blame the Fed. It's not the freaking Fed. It's the greens. What do you think happens to the price of foods when they get rid of nitrogen? Just think this through, people. What happens to the price of food when they ban nitrogen fertilizer? Has nothing to do with a monetary supply. I don't know why people can't get this. If they ban nitrogen and other fertilizers from your ability to grow crops, that has a limited, you're going to have less crops. Less crops is what? Oh, too much money chasing too few goods. It's too few goods. It's too few goods. Has nothing to do with the too much money. Has everything to do with too few goods. God, this is so insane. Obvious. I don't get why people don't set this. You know why? Because they're trained. They're trained. It's the feds. It's those guys. Because you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about the feds because they're unelected bureaucrats who go back to the, J.P. Morgan. And I mean, they're completely corrupt. I completely get that. But if you get rid of the inputs that we need to have crop yields that we can eat and have electricity that comes through our abundant, that comes to our house, if you get rid of all these inputs, you're going to have inflation, regardless of what the freaking Fed does. It's crazy. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. It's like saying, we're going to blame, I don't know, freaking Trump for January 6th. It's like, what has nothing to do with anything. It's so freaking stupid. It's embarrassingly stupid. And it's like the whole point is to get you focused on the wrong guy. And it drives me up the wall. I cannot tell you how many comments I get on my YouTube channel. Oh, so the Fed doesn't cause inflation? I'm like, oh my goodness. So let's have the Fed not have any monetary supply. We'll say M2 is down to zero. They took all the money out. There's no more money in the economy. All right. And those have no inputs into nitrogen fertilizer and cheap, abundant gas, natural gas, coal, electricity, or natural gas, coal, oil, nuclear, and let's see what happens to prices of crops. So just think about this. So there's no more money. The Fed is getting rid of everything. All excess reserves are gone completely. They're saying we're going bare bones. We're getting rid of everything. We're going Paul Volcker on steroids. What the hell do you think happens to prices of goods? They go through the roof because the inputs are freaking so expensive. So insane. Anyway, so what happens now is, what happens when the prices of goods go through the roof? Well, people stop buying other consumer items. It's called the substitution effect. They're saying, I'm not going to buy that new tennis shoes. I'm going to buy food instead. What happens to the price of tennis shoes? They drop. This is where the deflation comes in. And this is where bonds look great, because if you have a deflationary economy, more and more layoffs are coming 100%. I'm getting more emails on a regular basis now about people being laid off. And then I saw this article from, let me see if I can't find it here. Can't find. Just another brick in the wall. You know why they're trying to ban nitrogen fertilizer? Because it's nitrogen oxide, which is a GHG, a greenhouse gas. Nitrous oxide is a GHG. So you got nitrous oxide, methane, CO2, and of course the biggest by far is water vapor. So they already went after CO2, and it seems like they've been able to, and that hasn't worked as well as they thought. But so now they're going after methane. We're going to eat the Impossible Burger. We're going to eat freaking crickets and stuff because cow farts. But now they're going after nitrous oxide. Nitrogen oxygen is the fertilizer that we use to plant our foods. And because that's another greenhouse gas. It's tiny. It's tiny relative to the overall size of the greenhouse gas. Water vapor by far dwarfs all these other things, not even close. Which is why the whole thing's stupid. But CO2 is the next low-hanging fruit because it's so big. It was like, CO2, oh my goodness. But now they're going to have methane. They're going to cow farts, and now they're going after. The thing is it's the greens are evil. I don't get why people can't get this. I don't understand it. It's the worldwide, the thing is the stupid panda bear, World Wildlife Fund, evil. Sierra Club, evil. Never mind, Extinction Rebellion, evil. Evil people, man. These people hate humanity. They hate human beings. Inherently, they hate God. Ultimately, is what it comes down to. They don't like God because they don't like people. And if you don't like people, you inherently don't like God. And they're atheists. They're not anti-God, mind you. They hate God. They don't believe there's no God, an atheist. They actually are angry at God for whatever reason. I don't understand. They have something in their brain that is mad at God for them maybe not being recognized to like how superior they are to those right-wing crazy Republicans. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. They just hate God because God hasn't allowed them to be, the next Richard Dawkins or something like that. And so it's no other way around that. And they're evil, man. And we can pretend all day long that, they're just trying for a better climate. No, they're commies, dudes. Because we know for a fact commies hate God. But they can't be commies anymore because all the dead bodies from Mao and Stalin, they can't do that. Cuba, Shining Path, Pol Pot, they can't do that. So they got to say, well, we're not commies. We just want, they're commies. That's why we call them watermelons. Green on the outside, but deep red on the end. And they will have you freaking in a labor camp quicker than you can blink an eye because these guys are evil. There's just no two ways around that. Look, Satan does exist. And again, as I said on my live stream the other night, C.S. Lewis said it best. He goes, we don't take Satan seriously enough. We either are too fearful of him, that i.e. God, he's more powerful than God, or we think of him just some, basically a circus guy in tights and red tights. You can't look at Satan is not all. Satan can't create. The only thing that can create is God. God is all beings, all everything, forever. God is over Satan. Somehow we give Satan too much power. That's anti-God. But then again, Satan does exist, and he exists by luring you into his realm. Say, oh man, look, Josh, if it wasn't for those people, you would be the next Milton Friedman. Well, those people hold me back. Yeah, they are. All right. Anyway, so point being is I want to show you this article that just came out here today because I'm getting this on emails more and more, which is concerning to me. It's to be expected. But this one right here is from Weber. Right. Weber Manufacturing announces layoffs due to collapsed sales, U.S. economy shrinking, and CEO resigns. There's Weber, Weber Grills and whatnot. This is not a bad company, man. This is a good company, but people aren't buying Weber Grills if they can't afford to freaking fill the car with gas or put food on the table. You see what I'm saying? And we're seeing these more and more and more in the overall economy of people being laid off. And when people get laid off, what happens? It's not inflationary, it's deflationary. And look, don't think deflation is a good thing. If you think deflation is a good thing, read the book, Days on the Family Farm. And we can actually look at what happened to these farmers in terms of their prices. And this will be part of my book, by the way, I'll refer to this on a regular basis because it's very, very interesting. So we're going to show, hold on just a second. Right here, right there. So we got a list of their. So May, our heroine, kept a running tally of farming expenses and the income. And what you'll see here is that in 1928, they had. Hold on a second, right there. Right there we go. In 1919, they had income of $5,500. Farm income, $5,500, and they were able to score away $2,100 at in 1919. Now, this is after the World War One. Prices were high. There's deflation, there was inflation, then going into deflation. Anyway, but they had $5,500 in 1919 of income, and they were able to save almost half of that. You fast forward to 1920, 1930, they only had $3,400 of income, and I'm sorry, they only had $2,900 of income, and they weren't able to save anything. They actually had to spend they had a deficit of $1,200. So they actually had to dip into their savings of $1,200 because their income went down in half, but their expenses went up 35%. Because what happened was the price of goods on the farm, the crops, the price went way down. It's not because of overabundance, I'll tell you that right now. So then we fast forward to 1934. Their expenses dropped from $3,400 down to $1,900, but their income dropped as well from where was it, $2,900 to $1,900. So again, they had to dip into their cash flow again and again. This is deflation. Their income is dropping, their expenses are dropping, but their expenses aren't dropping to the extent that their income is dropping, which means they have to pull savings out, which is deflationary. And so, and if you look at the history of what happened during the Depression, the people who got smoked were the people who are heavy in debt. This is why you can't be in debt. You can't be in debt, and don't think inflation is going to write off your debt. It's not going to be. The people who got smoked because they had debt. The people who didn't get smoked were the people who did not have debt and were actually taking risks off the table by buying fixed rate investments, man. Bonds, savings bonds. I don't know if they had annuities back then. I don't know. I think they probably did. But anyway, so I want to show you again. I want to go back. And could this happen again? Absolutely could happen again. Absolutely. Does that mean we're going to depression? No, it doesn't mean we're going to depression. I don't know. No one knows where we're going. But if I'm about ready to retire and I'm sitting there like May and Elmo and I'm going out of my income because I'm no longer working, i.e., I'm not farming anymore. And farming could be doing YouTube videos, it could be digging ditches, it could be whatever you want to do. I'm not working for an income. Now I'm living off my investments. The last thing I want to do is have the market just crumble around me, where everything gets smoked, and I'm relying on an increasing dividend stock portfolio that may or may not come to fruition. And this is, again, the whole point is the 4 years of cash, 4 years of savings, some access to 4 years of income. So when the markets fall, you don't have to sell those. Now, should you be in stocks? Well, I used to say that. 4 years of cash and the rest VTI. I don't believe that anymore, because I think that bonds have more upside now than they did 2 or 3 years ago when I used to do that barbell. Because I don't have 100% stocks anymore. I actually think bonds, this was a video I did, I think bonds are going to take off like a bat out of hell. Because I think, again, as we're at the 10-year high for interest rate cycle, I don't see them to go on, what are they going to do? Go to freaking 5%? I mean, again, that could happen. I don't see it happening because the economy is already collapsing. All right, so let's show you again. I want to kind of go back and show you the Schwab rates here because I think it's important. So the worst case scenario, if you lock in, and I'm not pushing it, I'm just using this as an example. You got $100,000 annuity at Midland National Life. I don't know what that is, but it's 4.25. I'm assuming this is guaranteed. It says guaranteed. You'd have to do your research. You know for a fact the worst case scenario is you're going to get $121,000 in 5 years. It's interesting. So we go over to what I thought was interesting here, though. You want to go to the source. So as opposed to going through Schwab, you're probably going to want to go through Midland National And let me show you why. Here's USA. I was pretty happy to see USA on board. So here's USA's protected deferred annuity, 3.75 for 5 years. All right, but now if we go, which is interesting again, and my preference is USA because I just know the company like the back of my hand, and I know they're pretty conservative. But anyway, so I want to show you something here. If we go to USA, so remember it's 3.25 over at Schwab, but if we actually go to USA specifically, it was 5 years right here. Can I have it up there? Hold on a second. It was 3.9. So don't buy it through Schwab, buy it through USA because USA. I mean, if you're a member, you have to look into that. But anyway, if you're a member of USA and you buy a fixed annuity, you're going to get 15 basis points higher than if you did it through Schwab, just as an FYI. And I imagine that'd be the same thing at every annuity that's offered out there. I imagine Schwab and USA and Midland. I mean, I imagine all the insurance companies will pay you better if you buy it directly through them. Denise says we aren't in a depression. We might be in a pre-depression, i.e., recession. But repression. That's right, a pre-depression, repression. That's good. That's interesting. A Wonderful Life. That's 100%. Andre, I haven't seen you around. All right, good coming. I like that. It's good stuff, man. 100%. It's time to watch A Wonderful Life again with Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter. All right. So anyway, so what could happen is we have the interest rates have leveled off because think about it. The Fed is on the hook for another 75 basis points. All right. Now, it's hard to see that they're going to go up 100 basis points, which everyone and their mom thought was going to happen when the CPI numbers came out last month. It was like, oh, my goodness, they're going to raise 100. It's not going to happen. I mean, look, I could absolutely be wrong. That's why you have to have hedge on both sides. I could 100% be wrong. The idea the Fed raises 100 basis points on the Fed funds rate just is ludicrous to me. But we'll see. But I think they're stuck at 75 to keep pace. And then they're going to wait for the election, they'll wait for next year, and then they'll start lowering again. This is my prediction. I absolutely could be wrong. Just being upfront with it. I don't know. But look, man, if you think the Fed is going to keep raising and keep raising and keep raising to deal with an economy that's growing too inflationary, I don't think the Fed's that dumb. I don't think they attribute M2 money supplies leading to this inflation. In fact, it's funny. I was reading Brian Westbury the other day, and I think I did a video on it. I was kind of shocked because now he's saying M2. The money supply isn't what the Fed needs to do. What they literally need to do, wasn't the interest rates that he was saying. He needs to reduce the M2 supply. I was like, what? That was weird. I was like, okay. So this is weird now. Everyone's saying the interest rate increases won't help the Fed. Now they got to reduce M2. I'm like, okay, because it used to be Paul Volcker whipped inflation by raising the interest rates. It's just weird how all of a sudden out of nowhere, I'm hearing all these economists saying, no, it wasn't the raising of interest rates, it's the reduction of M2. And then you look at M2, it wasn't reduced under Paul Volcker, it was actually increasing. I did videos on all this. I'm not going to go and rehash this, but it's like, all right, so the interest rate increase doesn't reduce inflation. It's the reduction of M2, which literally did not happen under Volcker. M2 still went up. So what? Okay, so now kind of like Joe Biden changed the terminology of recession. Now what we're doing is we're changing the terminology of how we beat back inflation. And I say, no, the simplest way is this. Ooh, but I did see something else. Do I have the video up of the article? Damn. I saw something that was interesting as all can be. Let's see if I have this. Now, this makes my red heart very, very happy. Hold on just a second, amigos. Yes. Oh, man. Sorry. That scared Pablo Denise. Saskatchewan, Ontario to roll out mini nuclear reactors. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's Ontario, my friends. Not just Saskatchewan. That's Ontario, where that's their version of the swamp for Canada. Let me close the door. Ooh. If Ontario, and I haven't read the article, I just saw the headline, but if Ontario is thinking about allowing small reactors, that's flipping huge. Again, I haven't read the article yet. Very much looking forward to it because that's a huge win. Western. Look, empires fall. I mean, there's no other way around it. It's going to fall, and that doesn't mean the empire is bad or evil. I love America, 100%. But we have you can't keep going like we've been going, so it's going to collapse. But it doesn't happen to be overnight. A la Germany post World War One could easily be a la the Romans easily. The Ottoman Empire. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Anything that could happen like that. So point being is, as we can't control that, we can't control what we do here today. And I just think if you're not locking in some of your gains and buying fixed products because you're worried about interest rates hiking, I think that's a mistake. So what I want to show you again is I always do. Paulo, did you make it? So I just want to show you. So again, I'm not doing any of this, what I'm telling you guys, because I'm still plugging away. Now, what I have done, I'm not buying a fixed annuity because I actually think bonds are going to take off. And so that's why I went to Wellington, and that's why I bought some, oops, hold on a second. That's why I bought the long-term Schwab U.S. government bond fund. I might buy some more, actually. What am I doing here? There we go. All right, so what I want to show you guys, and we're just using Wellington for an example. And we're going to show you what Wellington has done over the last 5 years. All right, we started with $100,000. Even with the decline that we're in now, we're at 150. So Wellington has got a 7.63% compounded annual growth rate over the last 5 years. You made $50,000 on $100,000 over the last 5. If you want to do 12, and you can do whatever if you want to do 10 years. And I'm just using Wellington as a proxy, just to show you that a relatively conservative-minded, stock-heavy with some bonds in their portfolio has actually done nicely, even with the decline that we're in now. Over the last 10 years, we've averaged almost 9% a year. All right, so $100,000 10 years ago is worth $250 now. If you haven't taken some money off the table there, and you're about ready to retire or recently retired and locked in some fixed annuities or government bond funds, you can do whatever you want to do. Fixed annuities would be my preference. So what I would do here, and the reason fixed annuities would be my preference is because if I'm wrong. See what I'm saying? If I'm wrong and interest rates keep going up, then the bonds will drop, and the fixed annuities, while they won't keep up with an increasing interest rate, you're still locked in at 4.25. And that's pretty good. So here's my old barbell. My old barbell, 4 years cash, VTI. That's not what I believe in anymore. And if you want to do it, that's fine. I'm not going to yell at you. You got to do what you feel comfortable with. I just think the opportunity is in the bond market. And as such, now I don't have 4 years cash, just FYI. I'm heavily invested in everything. I got enough to pay 3 months of mortgage, and that's it. My emergency fund isn't even, it's just 3 months of mortgage. But that's, like, in my opinion, the ideal barbell right there. Now, someone would say, but Josh, if you think bonds are more upside and less risk, why not? And that's very attractive to me as well. 4 years cash at Wellesley. Hey, man. Hey, dude. I just had some MSGs. I put some MSGs on my chicken last night. Oh, freaking MSGs kick ass. Come here. Hold on a second. So you know that I ate my MSGs. I'm about to die. It's been nice knowing you because MSGs are horrible for you. That's what I was talking to some guy the other day about New York Times. They're fake news, and I talked about Kitty Genovese. Will you make up your mind? I forgot what it was. Is MSGs the New York Times are fake news because they're the ones who promoted the MSGs are bad. The Chinese are really bad because the MSGs, and it's all fake, man. Let's say anyway. So now what we're saying is, they say, okay, so now let's just say I made $150,000 on $100,000 in Wellington over the last 10 years. I'm again just a proxy, and I think the economy is not looking good. Which I also mean I think the economy, they're probably not going to raise rates as much as they thought, because why would you raise rates other than to save face? But once you save face, you're not going to keep raising rates. Why would they keep doing that? It doesn't make sense. So I don't think they're gonna. So I'm saying, I think I'm going to be okay with parking some of my gains I have from Wellington or VTI or Wells. I don't care what it is. I literally don't care, and locking in some guaranteed income, guaranteed return without any risk at all, other than the insurance company viability, and then I'll still leave my rest of my stuff alone. I just think that sounds so good, man. Allows you to sleep at night. You got cash, you got annuities, you got Wellington. Oh man, what a great portfolio! All right, so Jeff says he's buying T-bills. T-bills likely pay near 3%. I got no problem with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, tough to beat Wellington, Bruce. All right. Let's see. My man says, took most of my gains off the market, mostly cash, still holding to get back into Wells until January. I don't have any problem with that at all. I actually still think I don't think that's a bad move. I just want to be pointed out, I'm 52. All right. I still got kids that live in the house. I still got many years of hope and earning an income. So I'm not doing what I'm saying to do this. I want to be very upfront. This is not my strategy. My strategy right now is nothing but because I'm not in the same place as someone who's about to retire or recently retired. So my strategy is Wellington, cash, just a little bit of cash, Wellington, and the money I'm putting in is going to VTI. So this is my by far and I got some individual stocks, but not much. My biggest portfolio is Wellington by far. I'm adding $1,000 every 2 weeks to VTI. Adding $1,000 every 2 weeks to VTI. That's a total stock index. I got a little bit of cash to cover 3 months of mortgage, and I have a couple individual stocks. And then I got I bought 150 shares of SC8, whatever the Schwab long-term government bond fund is. I bought that. I actually might buy some more. Instead of putting it all into VTI, I might start loading up on I can't remember what it is, SCHQ, I think, but don't quote me on that. Because I actually think the opportunities in bonds. So let me just go back again, and you can do what you want to do, but look off. I'm good. I don't get why do you say that, Harry? Did I not elbow cough? What's Harry talking about? Harry, I know you're retired. Are you already drinking, man? Out there in Oklahoma, it's only like not even noon, man. Harry's already hitting the vodka. Oh, boy, Harry. What are we going to do with that guy? So let's actually go back. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Bruce. All right. Let's go back. So I just want to show you again. And it's like this, I'm just thinking out loud here. It doesn't mean I'm right. Heaven forbid you freaking listen to me. So I want to go back and we're going to look at what's the Vanguard bond, VBMFX. That what it is? VBMFX. I don't remember what the Vanguard. Oh, okay. Well, Finney over here is like. So let's just look at. Can you all see that? Yeah, all right, sweet. Hold on just a second, amigos. Oh boy, Harry in Oklahoma. What are we gonna do with that guy, everybody? He's like, I got annuities anyway. I don't have to worry about any of this because I'm all fixed annuities. I got no worries. All right, so let's dog stink. All right, so here we go. This is the Vanguard Total Bond Index. 70% are treasuries or mortgage backed or government agencies, essentially government debt, and 30% is corporate bonds. So it's down 2.66 in 1994, 18.18 the next year. Down 0.76 in 1999, 11.39 the next year. 2008 was up, as you can see. All right, that's not so bad. 2011, 2013 was down. Got it all back to next year. 2018 it was down. Got it all back to next year. 2000. This is where it gets interesting. 2021 down. 2022 so far down. Are you kidding me? You really think that means it's going to be down again? I mean, it could be. So then we look at that and we say, okay, that's pretty cool. So now let's look at the buckets here. Hold on a second. Daniel Kuhlbert's thing here. I expect the propagandists will make a recession into a great thing for climate change by the end of the week. Yeah, I could see that. That's what they did about the COVID lockdowns. Yeah, I'm not sure what the Fidelity version is, Jeremy. I imagine it's easy to look up. I just don't know. All right, so let's look at Daniel Kuhlbert's. Actually, we could. No, you know what we should do here? Hold on, just let me actually hold on a second. Let me cancel that. What's the? Let me just get the ticker. All right, there, Putnam Income Fund. Okay, cool. Putnam Income Fund. Hold on just a second. So we're going to look at the longest bond fund that I've been able to ascertain is the Putnam Income Fund, Class A. I got too many windows open. Let me close some of these windows. Yeah, okay, cool. Very good. So this one goes back to like 1955. So let's see what happened for the Putnam Income Fund, Class A. When it was down 1 year, what happened to the next year? All right. So down in 1957 is up 17, down 17%, smoked it the following year. Down in 62 is down 1%, smoked it the following year. This actually works kind of like a stock fund, which is weird because 66 and a lot of these years, so simultaneously when the stocks were down too. Probably a don't fight the Fed movement, which meant I imagine that's when the Fed was raising. But anyway, 66 down 6%, smoked it in 67. 69 got smoked. Look at that. That's probably kind of where we are right now with bond funds, actually. And then the next 3 years, 7, 13, 11, then got smoked. Well, that's not really smoked, but then it was down and down and got killed it the next 2 years. Look at that. So, I mean, there's literally just 1, 2 years. That's it, man. And this is probably 69 is probably like the equivalent of 2022 and the last quarter of 2021, where we are at probably end up for the bond funds in 2022. And if you can hang in there, look at that. You just smoked it. And then you got a little bit, you're down 10%. And then look at that. Shoosh. Down a couple years back to back, 79, 80. Remember, the Fed was raising. Oh, my goodness. Well, they didn't raise that much. And then, I mean, your bond funds didn't get smoked. Look at that. Down, what, 2%? And then look at that. Boink. 36% right there. Kaboom. And then the rest is history. We go back to 1994, down 3%, up 20%. Down 2%, up 7%. This was down in 2008. Yeah, so this was down in 2008 because it's not a government bond fund. Made it all back the following year. 2013, this was up, which is odd. 2015 was down. Not much of a change, but here. So far, 2021 is down 3.93. I'm not sure if they got the year to date on this. Yahoo's kind of weird, but be it as it may, if history shows us when bond funds are down, they storm back. Again, anything could happen. Oh yeah, Stanley Annuity, man. Yeah, right on, man. Ooh, I should email that guy. Yes, I should. Yes, I should. Yes, Stan, me too. I think it's Stout Bar too. Can you talk about bonds you were looking at? I was just looking at the Vanguard Total Bond Index, and then I was looking at the Putnam Income Fund, which is goes back to 1955 or something like that. And the Putnam Income Fund isn't overly high credit quality, and it's certainly not government bonds, but it's the oldest bond fund that I could find. And so, as I like to look at it as a proxy against what happens in bond markets when inflation was happening, because it didn't get killed. And then I like to look at it because it gives you a pretty good gauge of what the overall bond market did in various scenarios that we have. Because all these people, myself included, guys, I mean, I'm not exempting myself from this, but I always thought bonds were a bad investment because of interest rates, inflation and interest rates going up. And then when you actually look into it a little bit deeper, you realize, oh, I was wrong. The bond, at least the history that we have, the bonds did okay. I mean, they didn't make a hell of a lot of money, but they did better than stocks during the inflationary time. And then, of course, during the deflationary, the lower interest rate times, bonds kicked ass and took names. From 82 to 99, well, basically from 82 to 2011, the bonds freaking smoked it. They smoked it. That's all there is to it. Now, you're not going to expect to get much growth in bonds, i.e., interest rates, because the yields are low. But if you look at the history of bonds, they almost say they give up a lot because everyone's nervous about bonds. They sell them, exactly what's happened now, and then they recoup them by factors of 2 and 3 the following year. Again, I can't guarantee you this, but that's what has happened historically, which just makes sense because everyone gets nervous. Oh my goodness, the economy's falling apart, inflation, blah, blah, blah. And then the Fed raises, oh my goodness, the bonds get killed. And then people say, whoa, you're telling me I can get 4.25 on that fixed annuity I was talking about or whatever? Bonds look pretty attractive to me, especially when stocks are way, way down. Let me lock in some bond gains. And then what happens is the prices of the bonds, because they've fallen so much, they just look so attractive. And people go in there and then more money flows in there. And it just all kind of goes back to an equilibrium. My issue has always been with the low yields, you can't expect much money. What I used to try to tell people, and I don't think I was very successful at doing it, is I say, look, man, if you got a 10-year bond paying 2.5%, I mean, you literally know exactly what you're not. I mean, this is it, man. I mean, you got a 10-year bond. So you issue in year 1, matures in year 10. You're as long as it doesn't go bankrupt, you're not getting any more than 2.5%. That's it, and that's gross of inflation. And that's what I used to always try to tell people. Because people say I got 17% of my bond fund. I said it's not going to you're going to give it back. It's impossible to get 17% when you know for a fact that a 10-year bond will guarantee you 2.5%. It's not going to give you more. It won't give you less as long as the bond doesn't go bankrupt. It's just basic mathematics here. And all these people would be arguing with me saying, no, I got 17% last year. I said, you're going to give it back. And I said that. You can see videos I've done on it. But I just couldn't convince people. And so I was, all right, whatever. But they've given it back now. So hopefully they've been able to be convinced that, all right, well, on the other hand, as the interest rates are now up, and I forgot what I don't know what the bonds are paying right now, but we'll just use 3.5%, 10-year. I mean, for a fact you're getting 3.5%. And that's gross of inflation, by the way, just as an FYI. I argue with what inflation numbers we'd be using to reduce the total yield of your bond, because if you're using CPI, I think that's dumb. If you're using CPIE, I think that's dumb. As I talked about, if you're using CPIW, I think that's dumb. And that's what my book is, The Inflation Myth in Your Retirement Plan. Don't use those numbers. Look at your specific CPI. I don't want to get in that here today, but let's just say your specific CPI is 1.5%. So now we're netting 2% a year guaranteed on 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 bond. We know for a fact we're going to net 2% a year. And we still got to pay tax on that, by the way. If it's an IRA, you're going to have to pay tax ultimately. If it's in a taxable account, you probably have to pay tax depending on what your income brackets are. Anyway, long story short is you know for a fact what your rates are going to be, your returns are going to be. You can't make more, you can't make less as long as the bond doesn't go bankrupt. And so the only arguments are interest rates go up, my bond goes down. Well, it doesn't go down because if you hold it to maturity, you're going to get all your money back. So that's not a non-argument for me. Point 2 is the bond interest rates go up. I could have bought a better bond at a later date with a higher yield. That's 100% right, 100%. But that doesn't change the fact that we know for a fact what rate you're going to get right now. Yes, if you wait till later, in theory, you could get a higher price bond. That's what we all thought in the late 2000s, my friends. Everyone thought that. Said, don't buy long-term bonds because the rates got to go up because they're helicopter Ben Bernanke. And we were all wrong. All wrong. Many people want to stick to that. They want to stick to helicopter Ben Bernanke, quantitative easing, the government printing, 40% of the dollars, all that. It matters not, dude. All these guys are wrong. I mean, that doesn't mean they won't be right, but it just means they've been wrong well more than they've been right. At some point, you got to say, if you keep going 3-10, or what the old NFL schedule used to be 16, so you keep going 4-12. Yeah, you did get 4 wins, but you've lost 12 games each season. At some point, we're going to fire your ass because you're not a good coach. At some point, you got to say to people, Peter Schiff. I was watching a guy on a video who I actually enjoy, Money Bags, and very interesting. I forgot the guy, Mike. He used to be like Mr. Indiana basketball. Very, very interesting guy. And anyway, I was watching some of his old videos where he was talking about Peter Schiff. And I like this guy's videos. It's just, how the economy's falling apart. He wasn't saying this. Peter Schiff was saying this, 8, 9, 10 years ago, from 8, 9, 10 years ago. And they were just wrong. Again, doesn't mean they can't be right. But at some point, if you keep going 4-12, I can't have you coaching the Pats. You know what I'm saying? We got to find somebody else. Anyway, so the issue is that at least we know for a fact what we're getting. We're getting for our money. And if we're going into retirement, safety is the most critical component of a retirement plan when it comes to your investment portfolio. We cannot have a 2008. We can't. It just can't have it happen again. If you survived that, well, thank goodness you survived it, because probably you're still working and still adding to your portfolio. Hell of a lot different, though, I got a lady email me today, as a matter of fact, Martha, yesterday, and I'm not going to read you her last name, but it's very interesting. I'm telling you, man, this is the level of concern people have, and they rightly so. Let me just read you some of what she said here. Hold on a second. I can find what she said. Right here. All right, so, oh man, did I not save? I thought I said it. All right, well, point being, she's getting ready. She just hung up the boots, getting ready to take her first distribution. She is freaking nervous as a Nelly. You know what I'm saying? Very, very nervous. And I said, well, tell me more. What's going on? And then I'm not going to, again, tell you who the person is or anything, but she goes, I'm down about 15%. She's down 15%. All right. And she's taking her first distribution, and she's freaking scared. 100%. She goes, I'm not sure how much I have to take out, how much I need to take out. Well, that's why I'm going to email her back. Said, because she basically needs to take a distribution. I said, well, what's going on? Why are you so nervous? And she goes, because I'm down 15%. And I said, well, how much you got to take out? And she goes, I'm not sure. See, that's the issue. We got to figure that out. That is that's a holy grail right there. How much do you need, Martha? How much do you need, Stephen M? How much do you need? You see what I'm saying? And that's where we have to. If we don't know how much we need, we're always going to be living because we don't know. And that's when anytime you don't know, you're in fear. But see, this is the issue. She's down 15%, and there's no guarantee we can't go down another 15%. None whatsoever. And that's why it gets scary. Because, like, what if I'm taking 5% out, but now the market after a 15% drop goes down another 15? And that's why buying and locking and fixed annuities makes me feel hell of a lot. And again, I don't have it, and I won't, because I'm still plugging. I'm not pulling. I'm plugging. I'm in accumulation mode. If you're in accumulation mode, it's different. I cannot stress this enough. Stop shooting. If you're in decumulation or distribution mode, stop worrying about growth. Like, I gotta beat the market. I gotta do that. That's a young man's game. That's not you anymore. Right now, you got to bet preservation. And that means, like, what's the guy, Rob Berger? What do you say? The bucket strategy is not efficient. You're damn right it's not efficient. I don't care about damn efficiency. I care about my ability to sleep at night and preservation. If that means I don't get as much growth by the time I'm 90, pardon me, who gives a rat's ass? Pardon my French. I'm trying to make sure I survive. And just because it's efficient, i.e., I get the efficient market hypothesis and the frontier, the efficient frontier, whatever the hell, the Markowitz stuff. Oh, God, it's so flipping boring. Anyway, just because it's efficient, I'm on my efficient frontier. EFF, efficient something frontier. I know what efficient market hypothesis is, EMH. Efficient something frontier. I can't remember. It's freaking stupid. I'm on the efficient frontier. My investments are efficient, which means I should be able to get the best out of my bank. My Sharpe ratio is it's so freaking stupid, man. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, professor, once you take that freaking ivy off your brain, let's come down to the real world and make sure we can sleep at night and make sure that we don't get hit with an efficient portfolio that drops 35% there, guy. See what I'm saying? All right, so let's see. 100% annuities will help with that. They say I am locked in with no downside risk. I'm not going to make any more than what I see. What you see is what you get. It's locked in. Insurance company takes all the risk. Trust me, The reason the insurance company takes all the risk is because you're paying them to do so. You're like, well, I'm not paying a fee. Yes, you are. There's always a fee. There's nothing in this world for free. But you're like, okay, if I have to pay somebody to take away my worry about my house being burned down, I'm okay with that. Well, there we go. All right, what can I see? Look, and everyone and their mom hates annuities. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm not saying I would put all their money in annuities. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying take some of the freaking gains you still have. If you've been investing for the last 10 years, you got massive gains. Take some off the table, lock them into a safety portfolio if you're about ready to retire in the distribution stage. All right. Yeah, well, I have bonds, but you can only put $10,000 in. That's it. So, I mean, yes, that's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I completely get I bonds. Everyone's like I bonds, 100%, brother. But I'm not talking $10,000. I'm talking a lot more than that, actually. Stan. Remember when they did the Warcraft thing? Oh, classic. All right, I got Vanguard. Yeah, well, I've done videos on this. You got to wake up pretty early in the morning to beat me to the videos I do, Steven, especially when it comes to Vanguard. Yes, they did increase their forecast. I'm not increasing, and I use the Vanguard Capital Models market in my assumptions. Uh-oh, there goes Finney. He's out for blood now. Here's Pablo barking. Anyway, so by the way, for all those people who think I'm a Russian stooge because I hate the freaking Ukraine war, put this in your peace pipe and smoke it. Who's got this book? Yeah, I do. I bet all you pro-Ukrainian Zelensky-ites don't even know what this book is. Who's got this book? This guy does. When did I read it? Oh, hell, 30 years ago or something like that. All these people say, oh, you're Russian stooge, man, because you don't want the war of the Ukraine to free the Ukrainians. It's freaking clown show. And actually, I heard the Russian foreign secretary says, we're going to help the Ukrainians get rid of their tyrant in chief. I said, interesting. So can we finally start to recognize maybe Zelensky isn't all that in a bag of chips, huh? Only thing Zelensky's got going for him is he's got all the data on Lindsey Graham and Joe Biden and all these clowns. Look, Paul Manafort, all these guys. All right. Execution by hunger. In 1929, in an effort to destroy the well-to-do peasant farmers, otherwise called kulaks, Stalin ordered the collectivization of all Ukrainian farms. In the ensuing years, a brutal Soviet campaign of confiscations, terrorizing, and murder spread throughout the Ukrainian villages. What food remained after the seizures was insufficient to support the population. In the resulting famine, as many as 7 million Ukrainians died, starved to death, i.e. what's called the Holodomor. The poignant witnesses of the Ukrainian famine by one of the survivors relates the young Miron Dolov's day-to-day confrontation with despair and death. His helplessness as friends and family were arrested and abused, and his gradual realization of the absolute control the commies had over his life and the lives of his people. But it's also a story of personal dignity in the face of horror and humiliation, and it's an indictment of a chapter in the Soviet past that's still not acknowledged by Russian leaders. Yeah, well, I don't know if it is. I don't know what's going on today. And then some guy said, some clown said, because I don't like the U.S. engaging in all these wars, that I sound like freaking Chomsky. I said, it's like, why we got this dichotomy? You know, you don't like the U.S. wars? No, I don't. I don't think the U.S. should have been involved in any of them. Frankly, I don't. This whole thing, and I used to 100%. I used to be. I think the bombing of Hiroshima. I'm not convinced it was an A bomb. Frankly, I'm just not. I haven't looked that much into Nagasaki. I'm just not convinced Hiroshima was an A bomb. Did that really need to happen? I don't think so anymore. I used to. I'm telling you. I remember defending that like I was blue in my face. And this guy right here, if I can find him, I guess I can't. You know, I had a picture of my granddad over here in his Navy uniform. He was a captain in the Navy, and he was a test pilot with, I can't remember if it's Yeager or John Glenn, one of those two guys. I always forget which one. I think it might have been Yeager, actually. But anyway, and his brother, Carl, my great uncle, took out a Japanese battleship, by the way, the Cucamonga, or whatever it's called. I'm not going to find it. So I'm very keen on America, 100%, and I'm very keen on the heroes that fight the wars that our politicians throw at us. That doesn't mean we should continue doing it. We certainly shouldn't have conscription. That's nuts. Anyway, we definitely shouldn't be involved in this crap with Ukraine. That's stupid. Well, nothing to do with us, man. Nothing. But if they don't stop Ukraine, they're going to go into Poland, and then they're going to go into Berlin next. Ah! Where have we heard that before? If we don't get them in Afghanistan, if we don't get them in Iraq, if we don't get them in Libya, if we don't get them in Somalia, if we don't get them in, you name it, Syria, if we don't get them, and they're going to come over here. And yet, what's happening at the southern border? Oh, okay. So basically, it's all fake. It's just a war machine. Oh, that must mean you're like Chomsky. I just freaking chuckle, dude. That's just it's only idiots think like this. Like there has to be everything on here is right, everything over there is wrong. I ever thought might be some things over here that's right as well as some things that the most that's over here. You see what I'm saying? Anyone ever think like that? Like, you could have good points over here and good points over there. Huh. You could have bad points over here and bad points over there. Shocking. People drive it. Anyway, I just want to point that out because I just found this on one of my books shelves. I got bookshelves everywhere in this damn house. I can't find. I was trying to find. I had an Arnold Schwarzenegger workout book. I was trying to give to my boys. So they're starting to work out now in the basement. I couldn't find it. I was like, "Where is that book?" It's a big, thick book. It is when Arnold was juicing it up, but it's got a lot of good exercises in there. And I came across Execution by Hunger. I still wonder. Actually, it's just I'm wondering the Holodomor, the Irish potato famine, which I'm very familiar with as well. It's interesting to me to think that we had what's going on in Sri Lanka and like people don't have food, and yet Ukrainians just not they didn't revolt. The Irish didn't revolt. It's just weird to me. And I haven't done. It's just I'm thinking out loud here, but it's like so the murder that was happening, where you saw like kids dead in the streets, and yet you kept. Why wouldn't you revolt? I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Why? You see what I'm saying? Like, the Turkish genocide of the Armenians. I'm not all that familiar with that. I'm very familiar with the genocide. I just don't know. I think they took them out to the Black Woods or something like that, and they shot them. I don't know. But anyway, if it's a mass genocide where you just line up a bunch of people and shoot them, I mean that's one thing. But if you're just like, there's my brother. He was here. Now he's dead. So I'm just going to be the next. Why wouldn't you just say, no, we're going out fighting? And I don't know. I don't know how that works. Thankfully, I don't have to work that. But it's just it's weird to me. When you see all these people dead and you just don't do anything. Like somehow. I don't. Again, I just find that interesting. And yet we have the Sri Lankans and even Iranians are worried about food and Chinese. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. All right. 100%. You must be Chomsky, Kenneth. You must be a liberal, commies. And I said, well, I didn't realize this for the vax mandates and that if anyone who doesn't get the vax has no right to essentially live in modern society. I didn't realize that. I was glad to know because weird because I guess I'm banning myself from modern society because I ain't getting that damn thing. I'll tell you that right now. They can all kiss my big fat behinds. That's fun. The whole thing is suspect to me anymore. Everything is great. I was watching this guy. Oh man, you guys got to watch this guy's channel. Let me see if I can't find it. This guy's fantastic. If you're interested in like just a different perspective on things, and I did a video on it, like the hold on a sec. Not a video. I did a. There you go. All right, hold on, let me find this guy's channel because this guy kicks ass. Oh boy, now they're both back. They can't make up their minds. Oh man, this is funny. All right, let me show you. You gotta watch this guy's channel. If you're interested in stuff that makes you think, and a lot of people don't. I get it. I don't understand it, but I get it. John Levi, something like that. So I was just watching this video the other day about when he went to in Utah. He went to right here, trailer. This is crazy. And I'm not going to play it for you, but he got some boots on the mud. His dog and I explore the Sunnyside, Utah charcoal ovens. We are told they built 700 charcoal ovens in the late 1800s in the middle of nowhere. Join us as we explore history with untainted eyes. This guy, I freaking love this guy. This guy kicks ass. Let me just see if I can't find the ovens because it's freaking crazy. All right, so this is a makeshift one they showed like as you go into the like introduces you to what the ovens look like, and you're like, this is done by modern techniques, but but check this out. This is crazy. Let's see if I get because I want to show you. It's freaking nuts. This is. I mean, look at this. Look, it's absolutely. Look at this. It goes on for miles and miles and miles. I don't say miles and miles and miles. It's not the Who, but it goes on for miles. It's crazy. And just look at the where it's out in the middle of nowhere. Where'd the bricks come from? Look at that. It's crazy. Oh, that guy channel kicks ass. John Levi or Levi, something like that. Oh, love that guy. All right. It's a pizza. Right on, man. Yes, annuity salesmen are 100%, Andre. Oh my goodness, I've had so many annuity salesmen I've talked to in the past. Like, first of all, a lot of them don't know their own product, which ticks me off. And then, and then they'll make up stuff about. Anyway, they'll just make up stuff. A good point, Peter. Where the wood come to fuel them? Crazy. There's coal. They had coal there. Is what he shows, but there's no coal in the ovens. It's all outside. I'm telling you, you gotta watch that video. It's crazy. You're sitting there thinking, what the hell? What the hell? Oh, I love it. So what's her name said, I guess a nudity discussion. You have questions, Marv? I mean, you've got questions or topics, bring them all up here, man. I run a boutique. Yeah, I have a boutique IMO. What the hell is that? I don't know what an IMO is. Insurance something. Fixed and index annuity demands doubled over 2021. Yeah, anytime the market does is anytime the market. But I agree. The annuities, I still want cash, dude. Cash is always king. Anytime you have annuity guys, and especially if they argue we have a 7% guaranteed return, run for the flipping hills. They don't know what they're talking about. If they say a 7% guaranteed return, you always ask, is that walk away money, guy? Walk away money. And if they look at you with Bambi eyes, you know they're just lost. They're lost. Independent marketing company. I'm not sure what that is. Is that like insurance stuff? Yeah, I just answered. Cash, dude. Cash. Always. Never take your cash and put it into annuity. Cash is king, always and forever. I mean, you do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm just saying, cash is king. Everybody now, cash is king. Cash is king. Don't be a ding-a-ling by not knowing that cash is king. All right, we got to figure out a way to make that flow better. But right here, careful with the surrender charges. Exactly. One of the reasons you don't have annuities as your cash bucket is because there's surrender charge, 100%. Could not agree more, Pete. Trust me. From this guy saying this is all made up excuse. I fell for it. Yellow cake, whatever the hell they said. I fell for it all. And that doesn't mean I'm a Chomsky. I just laughed. Oh, by the way, I'm sure I've shared with you guys this book before. If not, I slept weird last night. Another great book for all you guys who think I'm a Chomsky. Coming Out of the Ice, An Unexpected Life by Victor Herman, who actually won gold medals for the Soviet Union in 1932 or 36 Olympics or something like that. It's very interesting. A great book. It's actually a movie. I haven't watched the movie. Incredible book. Incredible. And you can always assume all these guys are lying. I mean, anyone can make that assumption, but okay. Speaking of which, I'm going to do a video here. My clients are annuity broker. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Right on. Good. Fantastic. See, that's why you can't throw the baby out of the bathwater, man. Just because people don't know what the product consists of, the salesman, generally speaking, doesn't mean they're bad. I mean, I've done videos on index annuities many years ago. I probably need to revisit that. But I'm telling you, man, if you can, even what's his name? Roger Ibbotson. And I think he's probably getting some, actually, I don't know. I don't want to say anything negative. I don't know. But anyway, Ibbotson came out a couple years ago and said, look, index annuities are a good place to consider to replace your bonds. And I completely agree with him, 100%. because you get all the up. There's no down. Now, be advised, they're not going to replace your stocks. This is where they fix an index annuities, guys. I think they lose me. They say, oh, we can get you better than, or you're guaranteed to get stock returns without the risk of the stock market. No, you're not. You're not guaranteed to get stock returns without the risk of the stock market. It's freaking stupid. Because stock returns consist of two things. What? Earnings growth year over year, plus what? Oh, dividends, reinvested dividends. Oh, what do index annuities not give you? Dividends. Oh, so if I don't have dividends, I'm not getting stock returns, because historically dividends have been 40% of the returns of stocks. Yeah, that's some of them don't even have bad chicken dinners, Harry. They don't have rubber chicken. They have actually nice Roost Chris. You're like, well, who's paying for this? Well, it's my man, this guy, Flusha Art Intergalactic. He's paying for them. I'm goofing on you, brother. But I mean, what I'm saying is, if they're taking you to a fancy schmancy good time rock and roll restaurant, trust me, they're getting paid from that fancy schmancy good time rock and roll restaurant, because they're making the money back on commissions. Nothing wrong with that. I've used to do that myself. In fact, on there's a website called City Data, and I need to get back on there. As I was in a discussion with some people who say, is it worth it? Is it worth it to go to a financial planning seminar at this fancy schmancy good time rock and roll seminar, a dinner? I said yes, and everyone's like, no, don't go. You're. And I used to call them plate liquors. Don't be this. I said no. When I was doing seminars, plate liquor was better than an empty seat. I'm telling you, plate liquor is someone's going there to eat, but they're not going to buy. I tell you, man, and I told this lady, I said, man, just go. Even if you're not intending to buy, a guaranteed crowd is better than no crowd at all. Trust me, there's a guy who's done seminars all up and down the East Coast, in freaking Moorfield, West Virginia, Franklin, West Virginia, New York City, Bangor, Maine, everywhere you can possibly imagine. I've done them. And having 3 people at a seminar sucks. Having 15 people at a seminar with 12 plate liquors and 3 people who are interested in buying is better. Simply because those 3 people who are willing to buy will pay for that whole seminar, 100%. And I'm telling you, man. And if you get invited, go. Just go. You might learn something. You might find a guy you like. You might not, but you might learn something. Probably not. But I'm telling you, you're helping the guy or the lady who's doing the seminar. I'm telling you, a empty seated seminar is the kiss of death for an annuity, or for a guy who's hosting the seminar. Trust me, I've done that. And what happens is you'll say, hey, I need you to fill out this, tell me what you thought about the seminar. Just do them a favor. You don't have to, but it's always good to get, this piece of paper. I get these stacks of papers, say, F off, Josh, you suck. You're the ugliest guy ever. You had a big booger hanging from your nose. And you just put them, you don't ever call them. Don't waste your time. But what you want to do, if they do ask you for your feedback and would you like a call, say, no, don't call me. You know what I'm saying? Just say explicit. That way he doesn't waste his time. You don't waste your time. These guys are trying to make sales, and they try to make sales by offering free things. You are the product. That's okay, as long as you know you're the product. And the way to minimize your uncomfort and his uncomfort by him soliciting you when you don't want to be solicited, say, don't call me. Just be that simple. It's okay. I can't tell you how many people I call in my sales time say, hey, you came to our seminar, you gave me a 4 out of 5. What could we have done better? And, you waste all this time, and they're like, oh, I'm not really that interested. And you're like, well, just tell me out up front. I'm okay with that. I'm a big guy. And I learned that the hard way I listened to a psychologist, sales trainer from back in the 80s. I forgot his name off the top of my head. Aaron and his daughter's name Darcy. Can't remember. Maybe it was all the aspartame I drink. Aaron Helmsley or Hemsley. Aaron Hemsley, that's what it was. And his daughter Darcy. That's what it was. So he'd say when you're making cold calls, he just call somebody and say, hey, are you interested? No, see you. Hey, are you interested? Nope, see you. That's it. Don't waste your time. Hey, are you interested? No, send me something. Nope. You literally don't waste your time. And it's such a critical. So if you go to these seminars, you solicit, go learn what they got. You can see what the new products are. I got no clue what the new products are. I've been out of the game for so long. I got no clue what's out there. They might be pretty good. I don't know. Donut eaters. Donut eaters. What? Why would you call them donut? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get the donuts. That's funny. That's weird, man. Um, yeah, 100%. And everything's relationship. I could not agree more. Actually, I once you made it the game that it is, the game of numbers and sales, and any kind of sales, guys. It's just like, are you interested in my Anderson windows? No? Okay. The next guy might be. It's just literally a game of numbers. It's once you recognize that, it literally changed my life. Once I recognize I can't convince, and this also helps me in my YouTube channel, because all these people say I have to make the perfect, you don't. I have to appeal. No, 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 no. You appeal to the people that want to appeal to. Other ones can kiss your butt. It doesn't matter. It literally matters not. You cannot change so other people can jump on with you, because you have to be who you are, because ultimately it's going to come out anyway. That's why I haven't shaved, I haven't showered yet today. I'm still in my t-shirt. I got my dog sitting right there. My hair's a mess. I don't care. I just do these videos because it's fun for me to do. And people like it, they don't. It's completely up to them. I can't control other people. I control my input. I do videos. I do a lot of videos. I cannot control whether you guys like it or not. And so far, I mean, I'm sure I have a better channel if I made more efforts to it. I have no desire to make that fancy. I have none whatsoever. Oh, the time and energy these guys put in their channel, I'm like, oh gosh, no. All right, you can't please everyone, 100%. Hell, I can't even please my wife. Not the way you're thinking, Jeff. Get your head out of the gutter. Get your head out of the gutter. I can't actually. It's funny because my daughter Chloe, she had to go see the doc today, and I was like, all right, I'll take her. My call is until 4:30, and she's like, yeah, I think I'd rather have Maddie take her, my oldest daughter. I said, why? She goes, well, Maddie understands more about what the doctor is going to say, i.e., I don't think you understand, human anatomy enough to understand what the doctor or you. Basically, I don't listen. Well, not I don't listen well enough. I don't have the understanding that my 22-year-old daughter does. Oh man, yeah. There you go. Play liquors. Go to these things, man. All right, my man Darius. Yeah, dude. I got no qualm variable annuities at all. I've spoken. It was Marsh. If you draw cash and reinvest dividends, cap gains until market recovers. If you draw cash and reinvest dividend capital gains until market recovers, does this change returns of portfolio? If you're leaving your dividends and capital gains, you can open that, buddy. If you're leaving your dividends and capital gains to be reinvested, yes, absolutely. If you're not leaving and you're spending down cash that normally you would have taken out of your portfolio in which to not reinvest, yes, 100%, because you're buying more shares, Marsh. I mean, literally for every for every $100 of dividends that you're getting, and say the stock costs $100, you're adding a share if you're reinvesting it. So now that share has its own dividends and its own capital gains, if that makes sense. If you're actually not reinvesting that, you still have the same amount of shares you have. So dividends and capital gain reinvestment are a huge component of portfolio returns, 100%. Good question, though. Haithcock 40. I don't even know who that is. Makes $89K a month. Damn. What kind of YouTube channels you got? Yeah, right there. Oh, dude. Mike Leclerc. He's French Canadian. He's from Maine. I guarantee Mike Leclerc is from Maine. Who's taking bets? Mike Leclerc. You're from Maine, aren't you? Anyway, so he's got Spia and Wellington. I still want some cash, though. Oh, firearms. Yeah, okay. Oh, wow. Still? I thought they got rid of all the firearm channels. All right, cool. Good on him. Good on him, Harry. Yeah, so cash, Spee, and Wellington, tough to beat, man. Tough to beat. All right, I guess that's it here. Good. Well, I appreciate y'all being on this impromptu live stream. That's fun, man. Hey, Annette. Hey, Annette. Right on, from Tejas. Annette from Tejas. Right on. North Padre Island. Right on, man. What was I getting ready to say? Well, I had something I was going to say. All right, so y'all like these afternoon ones? I kind of like them, man. I don't know if I can do them on a consistent basis. I like doing them. I got energy. The dogs are chill. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Yeah, let's see if you guys, if these are fun to do. I like it actually. That's sometimes at night I'm getting old, my friends. I'm getting old. I get tired. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes at night I got a lot of energy right now. But at night, something's like, whoa, wind it down. Anyway, if you all like the afternoon ones, they're still. Yeah, I've seen a couple guys, but I'm surprised they could actually show firearms. I didn't YouTube say we're gonna get rid of all firearms and stuff like that. Or, I mean, because there was one guy I used to follow. I can't remember his name now, but I can't remember. But they said I didn't. Did I even do? I think I even did one. I showed a different size of a 5.56 and a 12 gauge, a, a, a buckshot. And I think, did I do that? I can't remember. It's been a while, but it seems like I did that. And people are saying, you got to be careful there because they're anything you're showing, any kind of firearm stuff, they're taking down your channel. I said, even showing a bullet? I said, that was weird, man. All right. Right on. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Yeah, cool. Look at that. Mark says makes crappy old job go faster with the live stream. All right, cool. Good stuff. Yeah, firearm channel heavily restricted, which is very interesting. Just as a side note, I posted something that there's this guy, Professor Dave, and y'all, I know where I'm getting Professor Dave in my stream. I said, oh, he must be the guy they want to take over for Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye, of course, is not a science guy, and Professor Dave, of course, is not a professor. Anyway, so I watched this. Some guy that I follow showed a tidbit of Professor Dave. He says, we got stamped out by all any means necessary. People who have basically unorthodox opinions about science and about things. It wasn't just science, it's just about anything. About Trump. We got to stamp them out by any means necessary. It seemed kind of genocidal. I said, okay, crazy guy. But anyway, some guy called in who called himself Brenda. And he says, basically saying the people who are unlike us are anti-science. And I said, wait. Apparently, this guy Brenda has been known in other realms of people I follow, and apparently um, is wacky sauce. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, let's just put it this way: certain people cannot have babies. If you know what I'm saying, we all used to know this literally like 18 months ago. It used to be a pretty wide realm that we could define a woman, and certain people can have babies. But Brenda thinks that certain people still can have babies. Who can't other than 18 months ago, because apparently 18 months ago or 2 years ago, there's magic happened in science that anyway, the whole point was, so here's Professor Dave just agreeing with old Brenda about smashing and stamping out opposition by any means necessary, especially when it comes to science. And Brenda calls in and Professor Dave's like, yeah, that's right, Brenda, that's right. I was like, man, these guys will stop at nothing, which is why I said, well, how does that get on YouTube? Like literally a genocidal maniac. You know what I'm saying? We're going to stamp out by any means necessary people who have unorthodox opinions. I find it's frightening in a way. Of course, Professor Dave himself will never do it. He'll put the jackbooted thugs. But don't get me wrong, there are a lot of jackbooted thugs who don't think like we do. Trust me, man. A lot of them, and they're going more and more in the military. And while they'll never beat the commies, the Chinese, the Republic of Korea army would smoke them. The Russians would smoke them, but they don't want to beat those guys. They want to turn their guns, on us. You see this a lot. Leftism is a disease, man. It's really, really a disease because they hate their fellow man. As I started this whole thing with, they hate their fellow man, and there's really no arguing with these people. The best is again, you laugh at them, but don't laugh at them thinking they can't do damage. They can do immense amount of damage, as we've seen through history. But you're not going to convince somebody who hates you that they're wrong. The only way they can convince is that somehow God, through the Holy Spirit, pierces their brain. Let's say a quick prayer. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we just pray for the lost. There's so many lost people out there who just, they don't not believe in you. They hate you. And I don't know why. And I pray for them because they need your guidance. I need your guidance. And I love you. But we all need your guidance. And you've given it to us time and time again, but we've been so arrogant to turn from it. God, we just pray to be humble enough to accept your grace in everything we do. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, my friends, God bless. I will see you on the other side. Thanks now.